Hello dear learner, welcome back to the Zoom Chemistry Hub. Today in this video we will discuss and learn what is saturated, unsaturated and supersaturated solution. So first of all we will take three beakers, and in these three beakers we take the equal volume of water, that is beaker number 1, 2 and 3. And in these three beakers first we will take the equal volume of water, that is 500 milliliter of water in each beaker. H2O. After this we will add in the first beaker a table salt. First we will add 2 teaspoons, then this 2 teaspoon will dissolve in this water. Next we will add 2 teaspoon more and it is also dissolved. Again we add 1 teaspoon more. Then this table salt is not dissolved in that solution at this temperature. So at these three beakers have a particular temperature, that is, for example, we are supposing that these three beakers have a particular temperature of 30 degrees centigrade or room temperature. At the room temperature, the 4 tablespoons are dissolved and the next spoon of the table salt will not dissolve in that water. So this solution is called saturated solution. So we can define the saturated solution as a saturated solution is a solution which cannot dissolve further amount of solute at a particular temperature is called saturated solution at that temperature, that is at 30 degrees centigrade. This solution cannot dissolve further amount of solute in it. So at this stage the 1 tablespoon will not dissolve in that solution and remain at the bottom of the solution. So at this stage this solution is called saturated solution. Similarly comes to the unsaturated solution. What is unsaturated solution? For understanding this, first we will take the examples or experiment, that in these three beakers we take the equal volume of water, that is this beaker number 2 contain the equal volume of water, that is 500 milliliter of water, and we know that in the first beaker it can dissolve 4 teaspoons of table salt. Now if we dissolve 2 teaspoons of table salt in this solution and stop dissolving further amount of solute, then and it have the ability to dissolve further 2 tablespoons in the beaker 2, which we do not dissolve in this solution. So at this stage this solution is called unsaturated solution. So we can define the unsaturated solution as a solution which can dissolve further amount of solute at a particular temperature. Here the temperature also the 30 degree centigrade. So at this particular temperature, this solution have the ability to dissolve further amount of solute. So this solution is called unsaturated solution. Similarly, we know that these three beakers have equal volume of water. Now we add, as we know that in the saturated solution, it can dissolve the maximum amount of solute, that is 4 tablespoons of table salt. So if we dissolve in the third beaker 4 tablespoons of salt, table salt, it can dissolve. But if we add further amount of solute, that is 2 more, then this 2 more teaspoon of salt will not dissolve and stay at the bottom of the beaker. Now if we heat this solution and we increasing the temperature from 30 degree centigrade to 40 degree centigrade, then this solvent or this solution have the ability to dissolve the further amount of solute at 40 degrees centigrade, or by increasing the temperature, this solution have the ability to dissolve further amount of solute which we added after 4 teaspoon. So this 2 teaspoon which we added can dissolve when we heat it and increase the temperature of the solution. So at this stage, this solution is called supersaturated solution. So it is called super, and we can define it as a supersaturated solution is a solution which contain more amount of solute than the amount required to saturate it at a particular temperature is called supersaturated solution. In simple words, we can say that the solution which can dissolve further amount of solute when we increasing its temperature from saturated to supersaturated solution. That is, in this case we increase the temperature from 30 to 40 degree centigrade. So by increasing the temperature of the saturated solution, it have the ability to dissolve further amount of solute. At this stage, this solution is called supersaturated solution. And after dissolving this additional 2 teaspoon of table salt, when we cool again this solution up to 30 degree centigrade, or when we again its temperature back to 30 degree centigrade, then this 2 teaspoon of table salt will crystallize. So these crystals are formed in the solution in pure form, and we can easily distinguish between unsaturated, saturated and supersaturated solution, as when a crystals of already dissolved solute is added to each of the three form of solutions, then if the crystals dissolve, the solution is unsaturated, and if it remain undissolved, it is saturated solution. And if some excess of dissolved solute deposit on the crystals, then it is the supersaturated solution. By this experiment, we can distinguish the saturated, unsaturated and supersaturated solution. That's for all today the learner. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share this video with your friends and fellows. Thanks for watching.